Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming here today to the webinar of artificial intelligence. We are really happy. We're just going to make some introduction and just waiting for the rest of the participants to be here. We have now 30 connected, but we have had more than 400 registers. That is really good. There are always a lot of interest for these kind of meetings. We really love bringing you content that you already know, but also bringing you also new things as artificial intelligence or what happened with technology and photography nowadays. We think today we are going to have a lot of fun knowing about the works and also having some debates on these kind of subjects if you're interested. I have Laura with me. Hello, Laura.
Hi, super excited to be here. Finally, to have the chance to know more about the work about artists working with AI. We are working mostly with analog things because experimental seems to be more like with the darkroom, with hands, artisanal work. But we have to look on the side, on the digital side, of course, because it's growing more and more, and it's now.
Is now and also the future.
In the future, of course.
We always debate with our students, as some of you might know, about all the family of techniques, of experimental techniques, that we have 6 huge families, those working without camera, for example, or those who question the way that we develop the film. But there is also a huge family of analog techniques, of digital techniques, I want to say, that we don't know a lot about them. We don't know how they call, we don't know how they work. We don't know nothing about them, about radars. I mean, there are a lot of technologies, there are a lot of techniques that we need to learn more about them. And I think this is a great opportunity to start doing this research. Okay, I'm Pablo, Laura. We have Ivona somewhere here. Ivona, hi. And we are also waiting. Hi, Ivona. We are also waiting for Kelly. That might be here. Hope she didn't mess with time zones and things as she's in the US. Hope not. She might be coming in a minute. This is part of Agora, School of Experimentation, as some of you might know. We started with Laura 7 years ago with Experimental Photo Festival. It's the one and only festival dedicated exclusively to experimental photography. And we also started this school, Agora, 4 or 5 years ago to learn during the full year. This is important because we are meeting in Barcelona in July, face-to-face, but all this European winter, we have time to connect also online and learn, and it's a great opportunity. Now we have a diploma in experimental photography that now have 120 students. And we are starting again in December the 3rd. That means next Wednesday, now in a week. And this is also a kindly invitation for those who are not part of the program to join or to learn more about our classes. It's a full year. We are learning more than 60 techniques on experimental photography, from analog, digital, historical, alternative, experimental. I mean, there are many, many, many things. And this is also an invitation for coming to Experimental Photo Festival next July in Barcelona. Ivona was here, I think it was 2022 and 2024, I think twice, and we had a lot of fun. That was a great opportunity to share. And we have a huge community coming to make workshops directly with artists. And we are going to have, I think, Laura, we can explain this, but we are going to have a Christmas offer also for the Experimental Photo Festival. If you want to come, the price is really good now till January, February, while we are going to explain more details on the program. Okay, I don't want to get longer. I'm just waiting a couple of minutes to see if more people is joining. Just a second, I'm going to share my screen. This is the diploma. Okay, Agora School of Experimentation. Here you have all the information about the diploma. You can find it here. You can meet our students. This is, and also our library. This is something that I want you to know more about, because as you know, there are many books on experimental photography. We create a library. Thanks to the help of many people working in our team, we have more than 400 books, and you can check them all here. For example, if you're interested in, I don't know, color photography, we have new ones, and historical books. For example, we can find this, 𝗳𝗂𝗁𝗂𝗿𝗲, and here you have the description, the image, and then the year and where to buy it. This is important because all of them are linked to a place to buy, but there are some of them that are also free and that you can download in PDF. And this is really good, because that means from archive.org, there is a lot of the historical books that you can check. That is great. And also something else that I want to show you is this webpage of festivals, because we are also part of 𝗍𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗏, the International Association of Photography Festivals, and this is something that can be useful also for you. Here we have Vilnius, Lithuania, and this is the place where Ivona was born, in Lithuania, and we have Vilnius Analog, that is a festival. And here on this webpage, photographyfestivalassociation.com, is also a free database with all the festivals in the world that you can see here. You can search by country, you can search by concept, or you can search if there are fairs, festivals, locals, regionals, congresses, wherever. You can look for all the festivals, and then you can know how many festivals that exist in the world. We just want to let you know that these two databases, the one for the books and the one with the festivals, are for free, and we are happy always to share all this content with our community. Okay, I think we have already done a nice introduction. Enough 10 minutes for waiting for the rest of the people to come. We have 40 participants. Today, what we are going to do is, if you have any questions, you can just write down your question in the chat, and we will use at the end of this conversation the time. Laura is on the technical part. She's going to be preparing all the questions, and we are going to answer them in the end. Okay? Kelly, I don't know if Kelly, if you're here, Kelly Boesch, that might be talking today between these 40 people. Kelly is not here. Okay, I'm going to send her an email. Ivona, welcome. Are you ready for your presentation?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me here.
Welcome.
Let me just test sharing of the screen, if it works well. Let's try. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
It works.
Let me just go to full screen. Is it still working?
Great.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. So yeah, welcome everyone. A few words to start about myself. So as Pablo has kindly mentioned, I'm from Vilnius, Lithuania, which is a small country in the Baltics. Right now I'm actually based most of the time, and my studio is based in Warsaw in Poland, nearby. And my background is actually quite dual. So first of all, I was trained in photography at the School of Photography, but at the same time, I was studying on a very technical background. And I had my master's in mathematics, and afterwards, I went on to pursue a PhD in computer vision at Polish-Japanese Academy of Information Technology. And essentially, this mixed background of having a very technical understanding of mathematics, of computer science, but also being interested in the creative side in photography, starting with analog photography, but then later on also working with digital photography, has led me to my current work, which is I like to call it new media artist, because essentially it's a lot of different techniques, and the techniques are still changing all the time. So most of the work I do is working with neural networks, machine learning, AI, and photography. And those networks are changing all the time. So I was working with generative adversarial networks. Now I'm working more with the diffusion networks. And I really like to go deeper into this technological part, as opposed to just using the tools that, of course, we all know nowadays. We have just so many tools with AI, using AI, that are so easy to use. They're getting better and better. So of course, it's a field that just keeps expanding. And some of those tools are quite promising. The others are not so interesting, and they just give repetitive results. So it's a field that is just something that it's really important to stay current and really keep track of what's new happening around. And my practice, what is it about? It's centered around the intersection of technology and human emotions. So what I'm really interested in, and what I think is the most important part of work that is on the intersection of technology and art, is something that is human. So something that cannot be replaced by any AIs, any technologies. So things like memory, nostalgia, perception, and human emotion, I think, are the most important concepts. And of course, this is something that is impossible to have without the human behind the tools. So even though many of those tools seem to be called automatic, or people say they will replace us, photographers, artists, I still think that that's not the case, because the human element is the most important element behind any artistic practice. So a few words about my process. As the tools, they are very different, so that can be many different AI models. I mostly use directly code, so I would write my code in Python or in other programming languages. So I'm not a fan of using interfaces. We like to write the code myself. But the basis, I would say, is not even the code, is not even the AI tools, but it really always starts with photography making and curating the data set. So what I would do, I would train my custom AI on my photography collections, on my photography data sets. So that's why this is like the most important part of my creative process. And when I have this data set, when I take photographs, when I work with archives, my archives, or maybe my family archives, I would then go on and train several different AI models. So this would be, again, something very personalized. I tend not to really like the outputs of models that somebody else has trained, and I prefer to have like a full control of the technology. So that's why I would often reiterate, train different models, use code to further differentiate and achieve results that are maybe closer to something I want to show, results that are closer aesthetically to something different, something that is more similar to my visual style. And this is like one very important takeaway I feel that everybody should have, is that AI is such a broad term that we use nowadays for everything. But it's really, really important to remember that AI is only as good as the data is. So when you work with AI, you should always ask the question, what data this AI was trained on? And sometimes these are like fast data sets, how OpenAI is training on the whole internet. Those are the data sets that consist of everything on YouTube, everything on Pinterest, everything that has been published on the internet, not always very well curated or even cleaned for dangerous data, etc. So that's why it's really important to ask this question, what data it was trained on. And if you as an artist are working with AI, especially to have the knowledge of if there are any copyright issues with the data that this AI was trained on, if it's not my AI that I trained, so who trained it and on what? And even better, maybe take the matter to your own hands and just train your own AI. Then you have like the full knowledge and full ownership the models. So it's just not enough to simply say that something is AI generated, but it's much more important to realize what AI model was that and what data it was trained on. So I will show quickly a few of the projects that I did in the past and what kind of topics I was tackling within my practice. So the first one that I'm going to introduce is quite technical because it meant that I was going deep into the neural network and trying to change the purpose of it. So it's not like AI always has to learn. In this project, I decided to reverse the role and was teaching the neural networks to forget. I started with one of my AI models that was trained for a different project that knew how to create images of the nighttime and of the cityscapes during the night. And then I went on to destroy this knowledge in the network and to teach them to forget, essentially, by reversing the goal function. So neural networks, they are simple mechanisms. They do what you ask them to do. And I just ask them, well, make those images you generate be more similar to this very abstract shapes. So here is a short video I'm going to play that explains a bit about this project.
Ivona, there is sound?
Yes, we don't hear the sound.
No, you have to share the sound separately. I mean, there must be 3 dots somewhere in your Zoom, and you have to put there sharing. Not there. In Zoom, there might be kind of 3 dots where you share it, where you share a screen. There must be an option like 3 dots or something like this, and it says sharing sound.
Oh, maybe this one. Yeah, not sure. Did it change anything? Well, I mean, the sound is not so important. It's
Okay.
just some ambient sound, but yeah. Okay. Okay, so essentially, yeah, maybe just essentially, yeah, it's just said that the sound was not playing, but it's okay. What I wanted to show here is really how it's interesting, the process of distraction, and you can see in the middle how the network is becoming more abstract and fragmented, and the results, yeah, sorry. And it's just going more into the abstract shapes as the network keeps forgetting. Yes, so that was the first project. The second project is called My Grandmother's Memories, and it's a project about collective memory. And this is the one where I didn't really work with my own photographs, but I worked with my family photographs, something that has been with the family ever since 60s, 70s, and 80s. Most of them were taken by my grandfather on several different cameras. He was an amateur photographer, but quite a serious amateur, I'd say, based on the number of cameras he had and also the notes he left. So he took care of writing down what kind of equipment was used, etc. And well, it started with family, very simple photographs. His wife, his children, so my aunt, my mother, and my grandmother. And I was walking through this archive for the first time just a year ago because we just stumbled upon those rolls of film, many of them. And At the time, people usually didn't really print all of the photographs. So there was a lot of the shots that I didn't even know about or have seen. And one of the most prominent subjects in those photographs was my grandmother. And when she was older, when she was 70, she actually lost her memory. So the last decade of her life, how I remember her is that she didn't really remember us. She had Alzheimer's and she could not really understand if what she's seeing is reality or her youth. And going for those photos through those archives, I just had this thought that, well, I'm looking into the glimpse of her past that she was reliving in her last decade of life. And I had this thought that it would be amazing to try and recreate this version of her memory and try to imagine of what she was living through. So that's why I trained an AI on those photographs and then created the videos that were my interpretation of her reality intermixed with her memories. And this is one of the pieces in this project. So first of all, there is a snapshot of the real photographs on the left that were digitized, and on the right, some of the snapshots from the trained model that I used for the video. And this is one of the videos that I created, and I feel that AI is actually quite a great medium for the topic of memory, which is fragmented and lost and intertwined with reality. So that's why those glitches, those weird AI morphings were a perfect way of showing how youth and reality could be intertwined. And the third project that I like to tell about is about how to reinterpret the familiar objects in our life. So one thing that AI is good in, and also another interesting use case for using AI in your work, is mixing different domains. And for humans, we usually think in very discrete concepts. This is artificial, this is glass, this is bottle, and this is natural, this is a flower, this is water, this is a very separate concept. And we like to think about them in a very separate manner. But AI does not really operate this way. And when you train an AI model on a combined data set of different things, what it really learns is also the connections between. So we have this very poetic metaphor to explore where we can find the intersections of different domains. And what I really like to explore in my practice is to take very opposite domains, like something that was made by a human, lit in artificial lighting, versus something that was more organic, natural, like water force, something that we just associate with something absolutely not human made. And as a result, I was creating this work that is called "If Plastic Cups Could Dream, They Would Be Filled with Water," and it's really about how the objects that are artificial can have those connections with the natural and organic parts. So this is unfortunately a very short clip from the longer piece, but you can see that, well, it's just going from shapes that are more organic to more artificial. And finally, some of my work talks about the AI risks. So it's like a meta practice because, of course, I'm using AI and I'm also talking about AI while using AI. So there is like this whole circle. But I believe it's quite important to talk about the real AI risks, such as bias and discrimination embedded in training data, and using AI through creation of deepfakes of myself, for example, to really bring to light the question that this is one of the biggest AI risks, as opposed to AI taking our jobs or AI killing humanity, etc., and all those viral dangers that we like to talk about. But there are so many more boring, but also more important issues with AI. that feel like they're just something we should care more about. So the erosion of trust, deep fakes and bias, and things like that are even more important. So to sum up, creative control means ethical use, and there is a lot of creative potential of using custom AI, and especially when using your own data, when having the full ownership of AI model, there is a lot of creative potential that you're going to have without, this practice becoming something like AI made without the human in the loop. So when you're training, for example, smaller models, not huge ChatGPT-like models, but there is just so many other models you can have that are fully yours, that you can have full ownership of. And they're also, of course, accessible with smaller GPU resources, because that's the question I often get asked, like, well, I don't have 1,000 GPUs. How can I work with my own AI? But yeah, that's absolutely not the case. You don't need millions of GPUs to train your own smaller AI to really explore an interesting topic. So that's one of the takeaways I'd like you to have. And yeah, that's it. That's my short presentation, and I hope you had some interesting takeaways and maybe will be inspired to explore AI in your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivona, for your presentation. It was really nice, really beautiful, and really well presented. Thank you so much. I can see that everyone is happy. Yes, Joanna says that she's working with a similar project also with family album, part of a big project. Yes, that is interesting. Cicel asked, can you give some examples of smaller AI models you can train? I was also asking, I'm thinking about that, because you said clearly, how can we have total control on the models? I mean, from people like myself on the level of normal user, we just know IA as something of these big companies, that they train everything as ChatGPT of all these kinds. Can you explain a little bit more how these specialized work and other models, or how these, kind of open or close artificial intelligence work?
Yes, absolutely. So there are a few different ways. So first of all, there are older AI models such as generative adversarial networks, or GAN, called in short. This would typically involve a little bit more technical knowledge, and you would need Python and something like Google Colab to run it. But this technical knowledge needed is not something advanced like, computer science degree. You just have a script that somebody else wrote. You change a few variables. You need to understand a little bit of coding to make it running, but it's not something very advanced. On the simpler side, you can also do things like LoRa's, or stable diffusion fine-tuning. So LoRa is a very popular concept that is mostly used to embed characters in the models. So it works in a way that you have a model that is trained already, but you can change the style of it, or you can add a particular character to it. And for training of a LoRa, you don't really need a lot of images. You can start with like 20 or 50. Of course, the more usually the better. And for training that, you can use, I would need to, like, maybe afterwards I can send a few links, because I remember Runway allowed for it. I didn't really use a lot of those tools like software. So I would need to check, because sometimes people ask me for it and it changes all the time. So for example, I know that before that it was able to train GANs on Runway, but then Runway changed. Now I think on Leonardo or on Alias, you can train your own LoRa's easily. So we just drag and drop images and then it trains, and then you get the result. Those tools, of course, are somewhat more limited than, doing that in encoding on your own, because there's a lot of parameters that you cannot really change. They're using some default parameters, so these would not be the best results you can get, but they're a great starting point. And the same goes for fine-tuning stable diffusion with a tool called DreamBooth. So DreamBooth is also a great tool where you are actually changing the model. So when you have around 100 photographs, you can take a model that was pre-trained on something else, and if you train it long enough, it just forgets the previous concepts and learns your world. And yeah, you can actually see that in a very beautiful way. So for example, if you start fine-tuning stable diffusion model trained on the whole internet, and you ask it for a woman or a man, it shows a representation of the internet of woman or man. But when you fine-tune it for a long time on your own data, it learns from your world. So in the example of my grandfather's photographs, if I asked such a model for a woman, it would show a black and white photograph. Not only stylistically, it would look like those old photographs, but it would also, the way she is dressed, where is she, how the street looks like, how the buildings look like, the cars, it all I don't have to specify anymore. So this what can be achieved with DreamBooth and stable diffusion fine-tuning. So also for Flux, this is like a newer model. You can train a Flux LoRa, and this would be even more detailed than the stable diffusion LoRa, and you can really get great results. For Flux, I actually might have a link, I think on Replicate, it's possible to also train it. Like,
yes, if you can share some of the links on the chat, that will be nice, because people is asking.
Yeah, I'll share the links once I stop talking, because I'm very bad at multitasking. So
No
I'll
problem.
drop some in the chat. Yeah.
No problem. We can wait for you a couple of minutes, at least to have 2 or 3. I was also looking at the same time for LoRa and all of them, but I mean, if you don't know which web page, I have just found 10 of them for the same. You know, we need to know which is a good one. But
yeah,
yes.
No worries. So yeah, put them later.
Great. Regarding your work, Julika was asking, you use mostly Python, and what else? I mean, we were asking for the basic ones, and now they are asking on your work that we imagine that they are more professionals.
Yes. So I would mostly use Python, different libraries in Python, such as TensorFlow, PyTorch. So just coding, which looks very boring because it's like in the video, black screen and a lot of lines. And afterwards for videos, I also use very rudimental video tools such as FFmpeg for combining the frames, for example, into video, for doing some video stitching, things like that. I tend to work with raw model outputs, so I don't do a lot of post-processing, maybe some upscaling, of course, because most of the model outputs are quite limited in size. So I would use then another AI tool for upscaling. And for that, I would use things like 𝗿𝗲𝗄. 𝗿𝗲𝗄 is great for video upscaling, so I would use that. But yeah, mostly just code.
And I was also making questions about your relationship with video. I mean, what is for you the link between one thing and the other? You use them depending on the project, depending on the narrative. You consider a videographer, you consider a photographer, you consider a scientist.
Yeah, that's why I say media artist, because it's all of the things. And yeah, I might say video is a large moving image, or yeah, maybe even not video, moving image is a large part of my practice. But it really depends on the project. So sometimes the output of the project can be both. So as in the case of my grandmother's memories, I was showing a few of the still images, and some of them were used to create the video, but not all of them. And most of them function just as prints. And the show I did, we actually just printed the prints in larger format, and it was still images. So it really depends on the story you want to tell, and I like to combine the two. And yeah, sometimes an image tells the full story, and sometimes you want something that maybe also has sound or has some movement shifts in it.
Don't check the questions because there are many questions. I'm going to go through them. It's going to be easy. Sarah is asking, why do you work with AI in the first place? Why not looking for other ways of expressing? Or on the other side, what you see on AI that can be created in analog or other kind of digital works?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. And this is something that I really like to say, that if you're working with AI, you have to have a reason for it. And for me, the reason is never to, create a beautiful picture. Creating a beautiful pixel perfect image is not good enough reason, because, well, if you want to have a realistic photograph, then why work with AI? You can go outside, have a nice camera, go to Iceland, shoot beautiful landscapes. And creating beautiful landscapes of Iceland in AI is not a valid use case, in my opinion. And you really need to have a reason. The reason for me is doing something that is not possible to do with photography alone. And some of the reasons were in the projects I showed you. So in the first case was, well, exploring what happens when the neural networks are forgetting. So really exploring the process of forgetting that is non-human forgetting. It's the process of forgetting by algorithms. And the second use case, I was trying to also find a non-human way of mixing reality with memories and trying to replicate the experience that my grandmother was having later in her life. So for that, there is no realistic material I could shoot, but I was working with an archive, with an actual archive that I wanted to transform. So those outputs, they have some of that archive in them, and this is what I feel is quite magical. And finally, the last reason, the third project, was combining different domains. So this is also something that maybe we can do for some techniques of collaging. We can, of course, have some new objects that have some pieces together of different concepts and different domains. But this is something that is just more advanced technologically than collaging different concepts. And it sometimes is also very surprising in a way. I like to approach practice with AI in a very open-ended manner. So you would go on exploring different things, and AI would do 100 unexpected things, but only 1 or 2 will be interesting to you. And you would look at that, and it will be your way of capturing the moment, or your way of saying what's interesting, what's important. But it will be something that, well, you didn't really think of in the beginning. So this is also the way I work with AI. It's never like this typical prompt-based approach where I would imagine an image and then I would say, oh, I want to create this image now of this large flower in the sunset, etc., etc. For me, it's more like I have this question I want to explore, or I have this topic that I really want to explore, and let's see what happens if we just, throw a lot of things in the mix, if we train a network, if we go somewhere else. So it's really more about exploration for me. And in this way, I'd say it's more similar to like a documentation process than creation process. So more like photographing something in the wild and documenting than creating something in the studio. But of course, it's different for everyone. It's just important to have a reason to work with AI. If you work with AI, that is, more than to create a beautiful image.
Nice. Thank you so much for your detailed answer. I think this was pretty inspiring for me and for the rest of our students. You were talking about creativity, and this is also one of the subjects of today. and we are at the Experimental Photo Festival, Agora School of Experimentation, and you were here also for the Experimental Photo Festival in Barcelona, and it was great to have you here. How do you relate your process of creation and inspiration and creativity with experimentation? Do you think it's linked? Not so much. I mean, what is your idea about experimentation? I mean, in general, as an artist.
Yes, experimentation is a huge part of my process. That's why, yes, I connect with the festival. And I think that there are many parallels with it, because it's a lot about experimentation, not even knowing what would be the result of the things you do. I just love to be surprised by doing the things not in a way that they are supposed to be done. And I think there is many parallels with analog techniques as well. So we would not do the things the way they're supposed to be done, but maybe change something in the darkroom. And similar here, change something in the model, change something in the code differently to what a scientist would do. So yeah, I think those are quite similar from the conceptual level.
Skiki is asking how you embrace unexpected outcomes or errors in your creative process.
Yeah, so this is something that I really love. This is also part of the experimentation, the unexpected outcomes. Because if, as I said, if I had an image in mind that I wanted to create, I could use illustration maybe, or photography, or some other tools. But this is quite boring. And I also have this problem with very good AI tools, where you just write something and it just works. And my initial motivation is always try to break things. So I would try to write crazy prompts that AI is just, struggling to create when I play around with those tools. And this is what's interesting, I think, because the way errors work, or unexpected outcomes, this is what actually tells us how those models are working. So how are those models looking at world? And sometimes there can be very interesting thoughts in that. So if we realize that, well, those models are not great at creating some logical structures, we can go deeper into that and really maybe understand how machines are working. So especially in the older models, it was very apparent. And by seeing the errors, you can realize how it was looking in a very vague way. It was first looking at colors, abstract shapes, and then the details were not so important. So yeah, I'd say that's really important.
I think it's a key what you are saying, that you are not capturing reality, or you are not creating the reality that you already know, but you are really looking for new things. That means that experimentation and also these errors are part of the process of looking for new things. That's what we like the most.
Absolutely.
Of your projects, and also from what we think artificial intelligence can really give us the opportunity to see something new, something that we can't create nor with analog nor with digital. And I think that is the best way to approach these kind of technologies. I have a couple of more questions. Do you have a lot of projects, or just small amount of them? I mean, because we know that there are people that are creating kind of all the time, and they generate tons of images and tons of images. And sometimes they show, as you did today, you show 3 of the most personal projects, but there are people working more on the commercial side, and also other people that are working more personal. How is your day by day working as an artist with this? I mean, because we have a lot of students, a lot of them also wants to become artists. How is being a digital artist in this case? And a little bit, if you can explain us a little bit, how is your day by day? That will be really useful for our community.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that this is something that actually shifted as I became more and more experienced in my practice, and as I was showing more and more and working more seriously, let's say. So it first started with creating some single, single picture, single video, really thinking about a single work. It was like this in the beginning. But then as I moved on, I realized that I started thinking more in projects or like concept ideas or directions, and really working in like this bigger projects. And a project can have maybe 20 images, maybe 20 videos. It will be closed, or it can be a first iteration, and then half a later I'm preparing the second part of the project that builds on top of what I already explored. So those themes of memory, of nature intersecting artificial, of human interference, of emotion, those will be like upcoming major themes that keep recurring in my work. And then I would think in bigger chunks, like what is here actually the whole story I want to tell. I don't have different elements in it. It can build on something I did before, but it will no longer be an isolated, this is an image I created and that's it. So I started thinking more in those like larger parts of my practice. And for me, at least personally, it was something that meant I could go a lot deeper in my practice, and also feels like you can tell more stories, and also make better shows, because then of course when you're doing a show with a gallery, you can show the whole story as opposed to just showing a single image or a video that just tries to tell something. So I believe this is part of growing as an artist, to really realizing what's the topic you're working on, and what are you saying about it. And it can just grow on. First you do this one thing, and then you just realize there's maybe a related thought that you want to explore, and just grow more and more on it. And it's really important to find those things that really interest you or you feel strongly about. Sometimes these are things you don't like about the world. So that's why I'm also quite often engaging now in the themes of AI in general. I feel like talking about AI is quite important, and creating work about AI with AI is also an important task of mine. And I start thinking about, well, what is it that I want to tell people about it? What is the outcome? So yeah, I mean, it's quite vague, but in general, the takeaway is like thinking broader, thinking bigger, and thinking in larger chunks of what I'm trying to tell as an artist.
Regarding the more commercial part, because we know, and we can read it even in your Instagram account, that you are working with some fairs, for example, the one in Miami. And I also remember a lot at the beginning when we started with these kind of things on 2020 or so, that there was a lot of opportunities for selling on Twitter. It was kind of a huge thing. Everyone was kind of selling digital things there. And obviously a lot of them were also coding. How has that change, I mean, on the commercial side for an artist, this shift also on how is your way of selling things? I mean, you are selling something print, you are selling a video, you are selling a code. What digital artists or AI artists sell, conceptually as a product, so to say?
Yeah, so I would say that for me, I do diversify a lot. So that's a lot of different income streams. And maybe that's also a good strategy, not really thinking about one. So let's say, making a print shop and only focusing on that, but also thinking about different ways how you can work with your practice. So for me, there is some key pillars. The first one is, as you mentioned, the art fairs. So for art fairs, I work with different galleries, and they would sell my work. And here there's also a few different types of how this work can be sold. First is, of course, prints. This is the usual one, limited edition prints. And a collector gets a print that is signed. They put it in their home. That's quite easy. For videos, there is also possibility to collect digital artworks, and this is also done at the fairs. maybe more like contemporary fairs than the more traditional ones, but it also comes with a certificate providing that the collector is the owner of this piece, whether it's a unique piece or maybe an edition. So collecting a video work is also not so different from a few decades ago when people were collecting them on USB sticks, etc. For code, so that would be either a print, either on paper and silk, on metal, on many other mediums, or digital work. I don't think I've ever sold code, so I don't know how would that work, but maybe some artists are doing that as well. But also a very important part of my practice, apart from directly selling the work, is working on different kinds of projects. Sometimes these are brand collaborations. So I've worked with a few brands through my agency or through some other contacts where I was directly creating a work. And this work can be either a piece of digital artwork, or maybe an installation at a location, maybe something that is also more physical, so creating a print that will be distributed at an event. So many different cases like this. Visuals for some screens. This is another revenue way of revenue. So many companies are working with like luxury hotels and spaces, and they offer for rent artworks. So they don't want to show screensavers, but they want to show actual artworks, and they would do that, and they would pay a commission to artists. So this is also another of the streams. And then finally, things like grants, funds, writing applications for funding. This is another thing that I'm doing, and it also helps finance bigger projects that are maybe a bit less commercial, that are more experimental, and that are just something that you really want to do and just need funds for. So my lesson here is that try many different things, see what you like, see what works for you as well. So for example, print shop, I realize I don't want to run a print shop. I know a lot of artists do, and they're very successful with that. But you also have to decide at some point if you're selling more limited edition things or you're going more into scale. And I really decided not to go for the scale, but more for the limited edition, and working with some selected galleries and going more to the art side of the practice.
Sure. And also, you didn't comment this so much, but you also like to talk a lot about artificial intelligence, and you were invited to a lot of places. I can imagine this going everywhere. Also help to make contacts, but also they pay for you to be there as a speaker. And this is something that I think is really important, also for a revenue sense. You go make contacts, and also you talk, you debate, you discuss. I'm not of this kind of artist. I don't like them so much. Those who say, no, I don't need to talk about what I'm doing. I'm just doing this work of art, and if you want it, you buy it, and that's it. I think it's a great opportunity also with artificial intelligence, that even the technology is changing every 2 weeks, every month. We have new things, trying new things. Everyone is looking for new possibilities. You need to be there to talk. And we saw a really respectful way of approaching, pretty experimental, and also talking about the good things, the bad things, your creative process and everything. I think this is the thing that we need to do. We need to talk about. We don't need to be afraid about this, because this is happening. This is a reality, and this is also part of the future. And we can just talk about it, and it's really good that you engage. Also, I think it's great. Okay, thank you so much, Ivona. It was amazing to know more of your work. Me and Laura, we know a little bit because we were following you over the last years, but our community had not had the opportunity to know more. Thank you so much. Now we have Kelly also with us. Kelly, are you there? Galleria, everyone. Kelly, yes, Kelly. Thank you so much, Ivona. Hi,
I'm
Kelly.
so sorry I was late. Hi, I'm here.
No problem. It's not late. If you are in the US, it might be soon in the morning.
Oh, it's not too bad. It's 9 o'clock.
Okay, good. This background is your swimming pool right now? No.
No, little AI.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Kelly, for being here. We were with Ivona, now from Poland, originally from Lithuania. She was part of the festival, I think in 2021 and 2023. And it was, I mean, we had a lot of relationship with her. We have been following her work. And you are the new one in our community. And we are really happy having you here and to know more about your work and to see how is your approach to this new creative technology that we are working. It's going to be such a pleasure to know more about your proposals.
Well, I'm actually not really new. I've been doing this, it'll be 3 years in December. And
Sure,
I'm a little...
new for our community.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
but we don't know your work.
I'm a little bit more quiet, I think, and my approach than Ivona. Is that how you say it, Ivona? I kind of I'm a little bit shy in some ways. I kind of take a quieter approach to it, but lately it's been come to the point where I'm getting so many requests and offers, like I've had to kind of step out of my shell a little bit, and I've been doing, gallery shows, and I'm in a museum in Illinois, and NFT things shows down in Miami, and so it's just all of a sudden it's gotten extremely crazy, and it's almost a hard time to get my head wrapped around it. Not sure why it all of a sudden started going crazy around September. I think people are just finally embracing AI, companies, like brands, and record companies for music videos and things. People were so afraid up until a certain point, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, screw it. Like everybody wants a part of it now. And so there's only, a handful of us that have been doing it a really long time in comparison to what the need is for AI artists, I believe. So they're just coming out of the woodwork. It's crazy and cool and fun and exciting. But my approach to AI so far has been less on the realism film side, and more on like the kind of the music video kind of creative artistic, almost like painting sort of style. I really focus less on story-driven AI and more on visual and the audio. I started making music because when I made my videos, they were about 3 minutes long. And when I would go to post them on TikTok or Instagram, I could only use a minute or a minute and a half of a song. So I'm like, oh, I was making these great long videos, but it had no music. So when Suno came around, I was like, oh, this is great. I just started making music just, as a necessity for background for my videos. And then people started saying, oh my God, I love this song. Can I buy the song? So I started uploading the music for them to buy the song. And now that's become a whole other, what do you call it, source of revenue for me. It's crazy. And I don't consider myself a musician, and by any means, I'm not, but I'm making songs. I think when people see the visuals with the music together, it creates like this experience, and then they feel drawn to the music because they have this visual in their head. It's kind of cool.
Because you also have a background in film production, marketing, and creative design. I mean, you come from a long run. Can you explain a little bit more about your background, and
Sure.
then how you arrive? And then we want to see images or videos or music or everything.
Well, I've always been a very creative person. I studied fine art in college. And this was before, like, computers were really things, and so I was doing some computer stuff for a company, and I always really loved computer graphics. It just really kind of spoke to me. And so then I worked for 17 years for IMAX, the film company, and I was in film production. And I would also do for film sponsorships, I would create proposals based on like the idea of the film, and this was before AI. God, I could only imagine the stuff I could have created, but I had to like kind of create stuff using PowerPoint and video and trying to make it look like what we wanted the film to look like to go out and try to raise money for our films. So I've always been doing, really creative work, and now I work as a graphic designer, video editor. For a while, I was doing music videos for a management company that had, kind of new artists and couldn't afford music videos, and that was fun. I would go out and film them and edit them and make these fun music videos. So the moment AI came around, I instantly am like, oh my God, I could make my own content sitting on my couch instead of having to try to film things or look for things or buy, stock video or whatever. And so the day I saw my first AI image, I was hooked. I mean, like that moment. And then when AI videos started, I was one of the first ones in. I got in with Runway right out of the gate. I became a creative partner with them, and I just like hit the ground running with it. Now I lost the original question.
No, that was the idea. I think when you were working for 17, 20 years in creative things, and then you arrived to AI. It's different when you start now with 16 years old, digital person starting with AI now, when it's different in your case because you have a long story of working, going out home every morning for checking spaces to do videos, and you know how it's to work with the team of video, music, and how you have to control all these teams, also working for the film production. And now you see a lot of new opportunities that you can also control by yourself. You don't need to have a huge team as we have in film production. I don't know how is this new sensation, new feeling that you can really control, because when you are in film, there are some people that control some part, like photography, music, the director, the producer, and you are just part of a big machine. Now you are in control of the machine and you can decide everything. Even you control the music. That is something that we love a lot about your work. How is to feel this power of being kind of the director of the machine?
That's incredible, to tell you the truth. But I forgot to mention, I'm also a painter. I do abstract painting, so I have that other creative side. But every single day I make 1 or 2 videos. That's a 3-minute full kind of music video from beginning to end. I start with the images, and then first I either come up with an idea or I get in Midjourney and I play around, and that's like my favorite part about it. Like I'll experiment with different prompts or image prompts, and you set up your personalization code so you have your own look. At Midjourney knows the style you like to work in. Or sometimes I'll even try like right now working in Nano Banana, trying different things with that. And then what I do is, once I figure out what app I'm going to use to animate them, lately I've been using VO3 for one, because I pay a lot for that one. Some of the other apps I get as being a creative partner, but that one, they don't even offer that. So, and it's also like a really, really good animator, and it comes with sounds, which I use sometimes. And then I start building the video in Premiere Pro. And then that's where I start trying to get the idea for the music. Usually the visuals come first, and I put them in, and I start thinking of like what kind of song would go with this, or what kind of music would go with this. And it's all about a feeling. And then I go into Suno and I kind of try to build the soundtrack for it. And sometimes, I don't really have stories. So I'll have like the one I posted today. It's just a bunch of kind of surreal images that almost feel like adult fairy tales in a way. Just kind of strange scenes. So I try to make a song that it's not following the story necessarily, but it might have its own story that in your mind you can sort of connect the two. So it's actually like pretty incredible that I can make a whole video sitting in my living room all by myself from beginning to end, every single piece of it in an evening. And if somebody would have showed me 3 years ago and said, you are going to be creating this, I think my head would have exploded. I would have been like, what are you talking about? I mean, I I still can't wrap my head around that I'm able to do this. It's pretty incredible.
I have a question about the sound, because you create first the images, and we more or less understand also, because Ivona was more or less explaining how we can create the videos and everything. But there is a relationship between the audio and the images. I mean, there are some synchronization, or how, let's say, if there is an artificial intelligence creating the audio, there is also some kind of technology that link the audio with the video that you are creating?
No, how I do the audio normally, usually I do the video first. Every now and then I'll think of, during the day, I'll think of a song that I'm like, oh, that's a really cool song. And then I'll make a video to go with the song. But how that usually goes is the lyrics are the hard part. I'm not really a writer, but I have great ideas. So I'll sit down and I'll kind of write out a story idea in like ChatGPT, and I'll say, if I have like a good line or a good hook for a song or something, I'll write all that in and write anything down, just like even just kind of freehand, like everything, put it in like some kind of, not even a format. And I say, can you take this information, put it into lyric format the best you can, and it'll put it, like verse 1, and it'll try to create a song for you. And a lot of times it uses the same words and kind of style, which you kind of then have to go back in and rewrite it to make it your own. And that's how the lyrics come. Or sometimes I don't use lyrics, I'll just use music. But then when it has to be more of a feeling. Sometimes I could make like 50 songs, and I'll listen, listen to all the songs. I could usually tell right away after the first, like, singing starts coming in, or the first part of the song, and I'll be like, hate it, hate it. And then something will click and I'll be like, I'll feel it. It has to always be a feeling. And then I'll take that song and I'll listen to it with the images. And then once I get the song created that I like it, then I put the song in there, and then I have all my images in Premiere Pro, and then I kind of listen, and then I look at the images and I kind of edit them to the music, and I'll say this one goes good here and this one goes good here. And like I said, it's all from feeling. Like I kind of get the feeling when I do it. And I think people get that when they watch my videos, because they said, I don't know why this makes me feel something. I think because I feel it when I make it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we want to see your videos and your images. Do you want to share them?
Okay, let me get my, let's see what I'm logged into here. Let me see if my TikTok is logged in. Oh, I could go to YouTube. Sorry, hold on.
Sure.
Oh wait, I got into TikTok. What kind of things do you want to see? Just
Fun things.
fun things? Okay.
Not everything. I mean, something that can talk about the way you work, and you can
right, let me
use
share.
it to explain kind of different things. I mean, our community is more used to analog things and experimentation in a more analog or the classical digital, and this is, everything is new. And we have half an hour that gives you enough time for showing different things and explain us how they work and what were your ideas. Yes, maybe I answer saying what we want to see is different things.
Where I'm trying to make sure I set up the sound too. Let's see if this works. Can you see?
Yes, we can see. We
Okay.
see that you have more than 99 messages without reading. How do you live with that,
God.
knowing that?
This is part of the hard thing. I post on TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and X, and I will get those. That's not even how many messages. I mean, I get like 1,000 messages or thousands of messages from all the apps a day. I have about 1.5 million followers. I can't even keep up anymore. I mean, it's been crazy. I feel so bad that I'm not able to get to everybody, and people
Sure.
leave me the most beautiful comments. They make my day, and not including my email. So,
That is the
anyway.
harder part.
I hope I'm logged in because usually it says how many followers I have, but it's weird. Oh, there we go. All right. Well, this video here, this bird video I made 2 years ago, and this was kind of the start of getting a lot of followers. At first, I made this video just for fun of these birds, and I posted it one Saturday morning.
Can you make it bigger? Sorry, can you make it
Yeah,
bigger?
I'll blow it up in a second. I was just telling the story. I went out to breakfast and I came back home and it had millions of views. And I was like, what is going on here? And like my followers started going up. I was getting messages. I was seeing things like it kind of went viral, and there's a thing you could even post, like people thought it was real, even though it said AI birds. And now it's up to 24 million views. But this video is like 2 years old now. It's so much better now. But for some reason, I just happened to, can you hear it?
No, we can't hear it. I think you have to share here on Zoom. You have to share audio. There is kind of 3 dots in sharing, and it says share original audio.
I went under audio. Maybe I didn't do it right. Let's see. Oh, share sound.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, that video is old now, so it looks outdated. I just did this new bird video. And you can see the difference in the quality now. Can you hear it?
Yes, perfectly fine.
So I won't play them all the way through because it'll take a long time, but you can see the difference in quality from 2 years ago until now. This is when I posted, well, actually, I'll start with these dance ones. I'm obsessed with making dance videos. I make a lot of them, and people kind of like them, and it's incredible how far the AI dancing has come in the last couple months. I mean, this like almost looks like it would be a real production here.
The rhythm pulls you deep. Let the silence take the wheel. Lose yourself in life. If it takes all night. Yeah, if it takes all night. You move it for the soul. You move it for the slow. Now baby, go slow. With a whole lot of soul. Don't move it too fast. You know it has to last. The energy is massive. Yeah, the rhythm holds you captive. Slide it to the limbo. How low can you go? You go, you go, you go.
The music is really amazing, and as you said, dancing is really real.
Yeah.
Totally.
Here's another one I just, I posted this one today. I really love this kind of like surreal painting kind of weird look. I post these a lot. This kind of style. It's one of my favorites. Like I said, it always kind of reminds me of like this adult fairy tales or something. Oops, wrong one.
Once in a dream, I was rowing down a stream where the shadows are always right, and the current is seldom wrong. The boat hit a bank, and into the water I sank. The river drank my weight, and I drowned inside a song. It was deep and it was wide, and then I realized I found the fisherman's wife. Oh, the fisherman's wife. She had 40 leagues of beach in the stretch between her teeth, and the moon and the sun could both fit into her eyes. Every song she sings is filled with corals and rings, and the melody it brings vibrates through a pearl string neck. She said, you.
So there's that style. This is one I posted yesterday. I just do these kind of for fun. This is like, I'm really kind of obsessed with transforming things in AI, like how AI, you could put one image and tell it to transform something, and every single time it'll come out completely different. And I was just playing around with these cool images I made in Veo, and I left the sound in that Veo made. Let's see. I had one video. Oh, I could probably show one of these. I mean, there's so many. I had one video that sort of this song became super popular. Oh, actually, let me show this one real quick. I was sitting in jury duty one day, and I was like, I made this song, and I was like, oh, I should try to make a music video out of it. And I just did it for fun. I made this little music video that people at first, they for some reason thought it was, oops, not this one, thought it was real. Where'd it go? Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. When it comes to opinions, I have enough of my own. I don't want to read it. When it comes to the news, I have too much on my phone. I'm all full up, so full up. I need a minute to tune out, turn down. Don't need a reason to lay low. Go slow, go slow. I need a minute to tune out, turn down. Don't need a reason to lay low.
Here's a fashion one I did the other day.
In between the folds of a fire, we start to love again. And in between the folds.
Here's the where's the other one? Oh, here's this one on Instagram. Like I got like,
I never found a reason why I had to learn to dance. My feet and music found each other. We knew it at first glance. From the moment I could walk, my feet just up and ran. When I hear a song, I see the flow of my feet just understand. Dancing in the street or in a subway car, I love the beat and moving in the dark. It don't make sense, but I love it. I just wanna be a dancer. I just wanna be a dancer.
I just keep showing videos? Oh, I can't hear
No.
you.
You're
Yes,
mute.
no. We are so surprised and interested and happy trying to dance here. We can just be 45 more minutes watching videos for sure. But we are really surprised about the music. I mean, it's really sticky, it's really nice, really gives you this energy to dance, and thinking that you can create all of that is amazing. Not just the sound, but also the video and also the relationship of both. It's great. I was looking for your Spotify. Also, I was just sharing it on the chat.
I have
great.
a few songs on Spotify, but I put all of my songs on Bandcamp.
Okay.
It's a site called Bandcamp, and it's that way people can just download them.
Yes, they are really good. Can we see this? There is one with trains on the up part.
Oh, this one?
Yes.
You kind of get the idea.
Really nice, really nice. I'm just obsessed with the videos. You said that you were doing every day more or less 1 or 2 videos of 3 minutes, but have you worked longer?
I don't usually do longer videos because Instagram won't push them out. They only push videos under 3 minutes. So I usually stick to 3 minutes. I have done some story-driven ones. I did one that was about older women. And there's just kind of this thing about, I hear a lot of older women say, is that when you get older, you start feeling a little invisible, like you go places, people don't notice you, people don't talk to you. And it's just sort of a thing, and then you just kind of learn to live with it. And I made this video, and it like really resonated with people.
No one really tells you this part. How you start to fade a little. Not in spirit, but in the way the world looks at you. Like you've slipped into soft focus. At first it stings. You speak and people talk over you. You enter a room and no one quite notices. And then you realize there's peace in the quiet.
So I've done like some story-driven videos before, which are usually like done with voiceover. I'm still not really convinced with the talking too much, even though I do it for fun sometimes with just playing around with characters talking, but for the most part, I don't do a lot of talking. This one was,
But you were talking, or you were also using AI?
That was all AI. I was use 11 Labs for the voiceover, and I never use my own voice. This one was just story too, like if there were...
When the seas began to rise, it wasn't sudden. It was a whisper at first. The ice melted like candle wax, slow and merciless, until the great cities forgot the sound of footsteps. The floodwaters came not with fury, but with patience. They crept into
something like that is really cool because VO makes the sound. So I leave the sound in, and it's like it's incredible because I used to have to like source the sounds and try to do that, which was like some things are almost impossible, like trying to get the water to splash at the correct time or get the lion to roar. I mean, like it wasn't really possible before without, I don't even know how you would do it.
We have a question from
Yes.
Julika about the monetization of this, if TikTok pays or how you generate income with this.
Well, for a long time, I wasn't really generating any income. I was signed up for the TikTok creator program, and which is awful because their algorithm keeps kicking you off all the time. They kept telling me that I was uploading other people's videos, even though I would say these are my original videos, and I would every video I would have to go and show them the images I make, and sometimes they would say no, we don't believe you, and they would say no. So I got tired of that, but I started really focusing on my YouTube. And even though I don't have as many followers on there, I make a pretty good income from YouTube because people watch my YouTube, they'll put it on their TVs in the background, like if they have a party or they're just hanging out, and those videos then play. So you get paid by engagement on YouTube. So the more people watch, it doesn't, I have like 90,000 followers, but they watch a lot. And when I look at where they watch, it's almost always on their TV. So the majority of income is from YouTube, and now Bandcamp selling songs for $1. I had no idea that would even become a thing, but I have thousands of people buying songs on there. It's insane. And so that has actually become a good revenue source. And now I have a lot of, like, I've been working with different companies. I made some videos for this EV company and several other brands that I've worked with. So I have income that way. And I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, Facebook. Facebook reached out and said, you know, since I have so many, and I didn't even know this because, you know, when you post on Instagram, it automatically goes to Facebook. So it was going on my personal Facebook page where, you know, I just had my friends and family. And then one day I looked and I had 300,000 followers over there and like millions of views. I had no idea. So I started bringing in revenue from Facebook too, because they do ads. Instagram doesn't do ads. So it's become really financially, like, really good income.
Sure. I mean, having this amount of things and also creating every day, obviously, that generates. Someone was also asking how do you do these videos so fast? Because you know the process, you know the programs, or this is also linked to your history. I mean, that you know film production from the beginning, and you also know all the different aspects that you need to have. I can imagine that if I have to start from zero, obviously it will take me months, you know, to create this. What's your experience?
Well, definitely being a video editor is super helpful. I mean, because that's probably the hardest part of all of it, is the editing the video, because you could throw a bunch of clips in with some music and if you don't like take the time to make it flow, then it just won't have the same feeling. So I think that's part of why I could do it so much faster. And obviously I've been doing it for 3 years, so I know I have a process basically. And you know, the animation, I've gotten really fast at that too. Knowing the prompts and what I want like I can almost, it's funny, like I could think now what the AI is going to do. Like I could look at an image and I'm like, okay, it's going to do this thing. And usually I'm pretty spot on. And now with prompting, like, especially with VO, you can tell it and it follows your prompts like so well. Like you could say, the guy walks from the left to the right, and then he picks up this thing and he looks at it and it turns into something, and it does exactly that. I mean, but the hard part is sometimes is you get an image and then you're like, okay, what do I want that to do that's interesting, right? So it's almost like you have to direct each shot. So I just think that with the experience that I have for all the years, it allows me to do this a lot faster. But I think, you know, the creating images and animations probably the easiest thing to pick up. The video editing can be a little trickier.
Sure.
And the song creation. I mean, you could make pretty good songs in Suno without really doing much, but if your lyrics are bad, the song isn't great, you know?
Yes, but the video editing part is what you think is more manual, more something that you need to be more there really to create a video that is pretty personal. I mean, it's something that technology has not yet arrived, kind of mixing all the videos and finding a narrative that is something that humans needs to do.
Yes. I mean, there are like apps like CapCut and stuff that do some like editing for you. And I think there are some others like you dump your videos in there and then it will edit it for you. I haven't used that. I mean, I've used CapCut somewhat. I like CapCut. There's things that I use CapCut for. Sometimes I'll create a video in Premiere. And even though it has like, you can do filters and stuff, you can take a whole video, put it into CapCut, and they have like really great filters. And you can find one filter that will take your whole entire video and give it all a very similar look so that it like each image isn't like a different color or, you know, it like kind of blends it together well, like color corrects it very quickly and really nice.
Nice. And someone is asking for the programs that you are using, because you said Midjourney, CapCut, but which other programs are you basically using?
I use Midjourney mostly for my images, and I do sometimes use like Gemini, like Nano Banana. For video editing, I use VO3, which is through Google. I use Higgsfield, which is a great app. I don't know if you'd be able to see this, but on Higgsfield app, they have can you see that?
No, we keep seeing your TikTok.
Oh, let me see if I could share this screen. Do you see the Higgsfield?
No, we keep seeing your TikTok and
Oh.
all the people that is following
here.
you live.
Okay, there.
No, yes, Higgsfield.
Yeah, see under video, they have the option of like Higgsfield, Sora, Google, Kling, Wan, Minimax, Seedance. Like you can choose all if all of these different apps under the Higgsfield app. So this is a really good app. I think if you're starting out, I often recommend this one to people. So I'm a creative partner with this app. I also use Helluo Minimax, which some of their animations are pretty good. Like I did these in it, and then sometimes like I started to do these, and they were just like not, you know, really not giving me any movement or anything. So I went and moved over to VO with these. But I have to use some of these apps because I'm a creative partner. I do use Runway for different things. I was doing some ads for a company, and I use Runway they have a sort of their own version of Nano Banana where you can create images of people like in the same face but in different scenes, which is super helpful. And then I was trying to do these like animated characters for my day job, like taking these characters and making them into like claymation or different things. I use Pika. Pika is where I do these really cool, they're called, let me see if I could find one. They're like these morphing videos, keyframe videos, where you take two images and you morph them together. And so it's like you take two images, morph them together, and then you take that second image, morph it with another one, and then that image with another one. And at the end, you have a full video that you edit together, which I will show you one of those so you can see. Let me switch back this is a very cool technique, actually, and I really love it. Share. Okay, here's one.
Now, sorry, Kelly. Now we are not seeing your.
Okay.
Now it's good. Now it's good.
So you see how it makes them flow like that. Let me go back to my other screen now. So Pika, not only does it do that, but they actually just updated their app. Their actual animations are really good too. Wait, I'm not sure I hit share yet. Hold on. Okay. So with Pika, you have there's so many different things you can do with this app. It's like a little overwhelming. It's sort of like, for a lot of people that don't know how to do AI, you can make all these funky things, like turn your cat into a dog, or make this doll come to life, or take a drawing and make the drawing come to life. It does all these things, but it also does regular animations very well. I've done whole videos using Pika, but I mostly use it for that Pika frames thing that I mentioned, where you blend things together. I used Luma for a long time. Luma right now is top in quality. Their videos are at the quality is so good. Can you see that? It's so clear as space. These were the NFTs that I did for this Miami thing that I'm in right now. The Context, is it called? Part of Art Basel.
Yes, the fair.
Yeah. So I also use Krea as an image enhancer. They also, I have to do these videos, these images sometimes this isn't a good example, but it can do the most insane upscaled images. If you have something bad and you really need something crisp of their face or something. I don't see if I could find a good example. Sometimes we'll get these really, really poor quality images. And then even though that doesn't really look like her, I can go back in and use some of this to rebuild her eyes and teeth and stuff, her hair. And then, I'll keep her her nose and try to rebuild it. But now Adobe Photoshop has an upscaler that works pretty well, but I use Krea for that sometimes. And they also have video animation and other things. I use, let's see, obviously Suno. So those are really the ones I use. Mostly Higgsfield and VO3. VO3 I use through Flow, the Flow app, which is Google Flow. And I don't know, I love VO. I think it's just incredible. I think that's about it.
And for the music?
I use Suno for everything. Suno is my go-to app for music. I don't know if anybody's used Suno. It's actually pretty easy. You go into Create, you put your lyrics here, or actually you can even go into write a full song and type in something that you want here. The lyrics are hit or miss, I don't usually use this. There's two different models you can use, this beta model or this classic model. And then your styles, I like to, in my styles, I'll take a whole bunch of different, I might say, here they have indie electronic synths. You could say indie electronic jazz, and put instruments in there. I just sometimes mix up, put the craziest stuff in there, or, just try all different sorts of things. The more things you mix up, the cooler your music is. And that's where I do all my music. Any other questions?
Gabriela is asking, I would like to ask you what advice you will give to begin an authentic and mindful creative journey.
Well, I would definitely suggest people start out in Midjourney, and since they don't offer any kind of creative programs, you'd have to buy a subscription. I bought the subscription that allows me to, once you run out of credits, you can put it into, let me go back to that. You could put it into like this relaxed mode here, and you can then make endless videos and endless images. You don't run out of credits. And I think that that's the best way to go for people starting out. And it can get this stuff gets very expensive. That's the hard part. So for a long time, I was not making money back doing this, you know. And I am a creative partner with a lot of programs, but like Midjourney, which I use for everything, they also have video animation. So you can actually do everything with one app to start out. You don't have to buy all these other apps. You can get Midjourney, do images and animation in it and try it out and experiment and start making your videos there. And then, you know, once you get a little better, then start investing in like Veal or Higgsfield or something. But I think it just takes time, you know, like you have to, like a lot of people are like, I don't want to take the time to learn it. I just want you to tell me how to do it. And I'm like, you can't really tell someone, you know, like take the time and go into Midjourney, and they have something called, oops, I think I switch back. They have something called setting up your personalization codes. You go in and you look at two, let's see. Oh, I've already done it, but you go in and they give you two images. So you like look at the left one and the right one, and you like whichever one you like better, even if they're like, you don't even know, you just select the one you kind of like better, and you do it up till 200 or more. Doesn't take you that long, but it learns your style, and everybody has their own style. And that will change the game in your images. It will make your images look different than anyone else's. It gives you your own, you know, look in your images. It's totally worth doing that. And that's one thing I recommend. Also using things like in Explorer, they have styles here. You can look at different styles and then like click on something, and it gives you could say, try this style, and it puts this code in your prompt. And then when your image comes out, it'll have that look. So that's a good way to get a different style. What else? I think that's a good start. Oh, you could also see what other people are doing in here. Like these are other people's, you could look at their images or videos, and like I would never steal someone else's idea. You might like the way something looks, like say, oh, I really like the way this style is, and see how they like photoreal, render calm lifestyle aesthetic, you know. You could use that style and like do your own thing with it. Or, you know, you could get ideas here. I sometimes will look at here if like I'm having trouble creating something like that I'm trying to create. Like you could type in something like, say I want, I don't know, 3D animation. You can kind of see like different styles of 3D animation people have made, and like maybe you could go, oh, I really like that style. What did they use for that? You know what I mean? So there you can learn in here while you're working. But take the time to really learn Midjourney, go in and learn your settings and change some of these things, the stylization, read what it is, read what weirdness is, what variety does. here's where you change the sizes, you know, raw mode and standard mode do different, make your images look completely different. You could do the same image in standard and the same image in raw and get completely different different thing. So that's my recommendation.
Good. Good. I mean, I think we have received a lot of information, and we know some people from our community are already looking for these strategies on how to start, even because in our community we have a lot of people that are doing analog photography, and they want to use this analog photography to train and see what other things they can create, and start doing a mix, you know, between analog and digital. Normally we don't have problems with inspiration, but we want to understand how these new ways of experimentation work. What is your experience with the word experimental? Do you have the feeling that you experiment, that you play, that you create? What do you think?
Everything I do is experimental. Every single thing. Every time I create an image or a video, I start out experimenting with different styles or different images. Like, as you could see, nothing, I mean, I post similar things sometimes, but every day is completely different. Like, it's what strikes me maybe in mid-journey, or something inspires me, or you know, even with the music, it's all experimental. I try different prompts. Like, I try to be as crazy as I can. I use the words like strange or experimental or weird, or, you know, I like things to be like just kind of odd and not sometimes off-putting, but sometimes just different, so that sometimes people are like, your stuff makes me feel weird. I can't explain it. And I'm like, because that's was my intention. It's to make you think, or to make you feel it in some way, especially with the combo with the music and the visuals.
Yes, and also I think people loves a lot this perspective of showing things that we know, but they are changing. You know, this surrealistic style, I think is really powerful, and also at the same time, you can see clearly that is something creative with AI, but that is artistic at the same time. I have a question. How do you think that we need to say all the time that we have created this with AI or not? What is your opinion on this debate?
I never really say it because it's super obvious, unless I post something like super realistic, like that people might not necessarily know it's AI, but like, you can look at all this and it's super obvious that it's AI. Like, I don't make anything like that one. Maybe I would put that it was made with AI, because sometimes people thought it was real. But if you look at it, I don't really have much in here that would cross over. I did before do some super realistic kind of action things. Let's see if I can find one. I don't do a lot of that, but like as experiments, I was experimenting with different apps and realism. It's been a while. But no, I don't. I think that they really want you to put that as if you're posting something that can be mistaken as real, that's when because it says in certain cases you should put this, like, that it's made with AI. I mean, I don't know if it makes a difference. I don't know if that changes how they send your videos out to people. I'm not really sure. Certain things can stop different apps from, like, if you reference certain things, or like if it thinks it sees nudity, or, you know, there's different things, and then all of a sudden you'll know, like, why don't I have any views on that video? So I'm just trying to be like ultra careful with what I tag or post.
Sure. Yes, also algorithms are crazy. I mean,
yeah.
Okay. I think we have gone through all the questions. We are really inspired by your work, Kelly, and also from Ivona's presentation. Now we have a lot of more arguments and more new ideas to keep creating. It's really has been a pleasure to know more about your work. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing what you are doing. We are really happy also seeing how many people is giving you likes and followers and love all the time. And I have already followed you on Bandcamp to know more about your songs. I'm waiting for Friday night to test some of those songs.
Oh, cool. I wish I was a good speaker like Ivona. She seems to have a lot of practice. I'm still working on it.
For sure, you are going to have more opportunities in the future to talk more about your work, and then you just get used to work and to talk about it. And for sure, there are going to be more opportunities to present. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you so much, Ivona, Laura, and the rest of the team, and all of you for being here. And as we always said, get inspired, get creative, and if you want to know more, we are starting the diploma in experimental photography next week and hope to see you all there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.